Let's make some noise. You're kicking it with Verve Radio.
Good evening and welcome to Verve Radio, live at 5 on a Sunday. Say hello, ladies and gentlemen, to Dom.
Hello.
How are you doing?
Yeah, not too bad, man. Yourself?
Yeah, very good. Thank you. Very good. Thank you for joining us on today's live lounge on behalf of a night like this.
Yeah, no problem. I'm looking forward to it.
So just to give the listeners a little bit of a sort of sneak preview of what's to come, or at least the acoustic version, here is one of the new songs from a night like this, the chorus at least, just to give you a bit of a taster. This is Blossom, so have a listen to this. So that is Blossom, one of the tracks that we will be having the pleasure of listening to today, if I'm correct.
Absolutely, yeah. That's on my list.
I can't not wait to hear that. I'm a massive, massive fan of that song in particular. I mean, your last EP was especially amazing. I couldn't believe it when I saw Dan sharing like links to your stuff, and obviously when I listened, I was like, Jesus Christ, this stuff's really good. Like I just don't expect it from the local bands from home. I guess they don't come through all that often. I feel like they're good quality ones. You get one every now and then, and for me, like you guys are definitely one of those bands. So let's find out about you guys. How did you guys meet? What's your story? How long have you been about?
We've been a band since 2016. As a night like this, a couple of the boys who kind of started it. So it's me and Joe, our bassist, who have been in it from the kind of start, and we've been sort of right in. Beyond there, we met in college with a couple of other guys who kind of started it, decided to do some gigging and things, got a couple of gigs around local Swansea and stuff. And just over time, then we sort of met everyone else. So. Our other guitarist, Dan O'Brien, he was in college and uni with us as well, and we kind of stole him. And then Dan Phillips, we played a couple of shows with his other band at Conflicts at the time, and we sort of ended up stealing him as well, and we got a bit of a collective, I suppose. Yeah.
just went around with a net basically at all the concerts, and you were just like bagging everybody up.
Basically, yeah. Absolutely.
And how have you found playing as being a musician in South Wales? Because at least from when I was living back there, I always found that there was always a shortage of gigs. There was never enough live music, and I feel like it was what people wanted, but for some reason it wasn't what we were getting. So how do you find it these days?
I think it's a bit up and down. I mean, there's some amazing like local bands and that we've played with and gone to see and show all of our support to, and there's loads of local venues, especially in particularly in Swansea, which is where we go to most, I suppose, and we know most of the scene down there. There's loads of venues who are really trying their best, but the scene, it just seems to go up and down and up and down. Unless you have those really dedicated sort of followers who are really into the local scene. But there's so much to see, locally, I suppose, yeah.
I mean, it's interesting you mentioned followers, because I was having a look on your Spotify, and I don't know if you know this, but did you know that your largest listening fan base on Spotify, at least, is in Australia? I think like top spot and third place goes to Brisbane and Sydney, and then Chicago was second highest, Philly was fourth, and I think Swansea was fifth. And I was like, how have they reached over there more than Swansea on Spotify?
It's crazy because we keep up to date with what's going on, especially with Spotify. I've gotten very into Spotify recently. We tend to keep an eye on what's going on, and it's it's an amazing feeling, and it's also a bit of a weird feeling to not have your hometown as like the top listen to. It's like, oh, okay, but also they're listening over in Australia and America, so that's also quite cool. You know, it's a weird
Yeah.
one.
I was thinking, like, obviously, South Wales, where you're from, where I'm from, and there's a New South Wales in Australia. I was thinking, do you think maybe like they're Googling bands from South Wales and then they're just assuming you guys are from like New South Wales?
They could be. They absolutely could be.
Yeah, I was thinking like I was racking my brain. I was like, it's just really interesting. It's great, but it's like interesting, isn't it? At the same time.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I wouldn't mind using that as a bit of an excuse to go over there at some point.
I mean, exactly. If you're going to start your tour anywhere, it's a given now, isn't it? You've got to do Australia. It's your biggest fan bases, apparently.
Apparently so. We're gonna have to do it now. It's just the rules.
Definitely, I agree. So, what was your first single? I've got Survival down here. Was that your first single? Was that back in 2017?
Yeah, that was our first single we put out. Yeah.
And you've released quite a few singles since. And what are you on your second EP now, right?
Yeah, we're on our second EP currently. The first one was it was just sort of like we had these songs written, we were gigging them. We kind of wanted to push ourselves to the next stage of trying to grow a fan base of some sort and getting more shows, I suppose, as well. And actually having music out there really helped with that. And that EP did quite a lot for getting shows and tours and things.
So are you guys producing your own music? I know you come from a music production background. Dan, who I know, production background. Is it you guys doing it yourselves, or are you? What's your story behind your productions? Because I mean, the quality of the stuff, the music recordings, is just it's up there, mate. It's really good. Which is one of the things that like impressed me beyond the music, which is great itself. But the production value of it's just excellent.
Well, we actually had the privilege of working with Ramesh Dongoda in Cardiff on this EP. He produced and engineered the whole thing really with his engineer Rob as well. Yeah, we had a great couple of days there spread out over a period of time, and that was one of the steps we wanted to take. Actually, was recording with him, and we finally got to do that. So yeah.
How do you decide on doing whether to do like an EP or whether to do an album? Because there's a very fine line between I suppose an EP and an album in terms of the quantity. Because I think your last EP was 7 songs or something. It's basically almost an album, isn't it?
Yeah. It is a tricky one because we really wanted to actually put out an album. That's kind of something has always been in discussion. But I think an album, as important as these EPs are, and as much thought that's gone into them, and each song actually on them, an album I think just needs that recognition, especially with the time and the finances and all the promotion stuff behind the scenes. It really needs everything to go into this, and it needs to do really well. So I think we're kind of waiting for the right moment to properly put out a full record.
So what would need to be in place for you personally to kind of want to go, right, now's the time to do an album?
For sure, I think we need the sort of recognition, I suppose, from people to know about it, so that it's not gonna flop, or people aren't gonna care about it. And with that, then there's the finance element of it. We have the time, and we're writing all the time. So we're demoing. We started demo, and actually, as soon as we stopped recording the EP, we just kind of wanted to get back into that creative mindset. So yeah, I mean, we've got the content ready to go. It's just we need the right time, I think.
I think that's definitely great news for the fans anyway. It's always something you want to hear is that a band has got a lot more music ready to go, you know. Speaking of music,
Absolutely.
shall we get into our first song? I know we've got 5 tracks lined up. I should say as well, we've got an exclusive tonight. I'll let you tell us about it. So we've got a little exclusive from yourself tonight, a new song, forthcoming song, A Tragic Way to Write the Story End. So we're gonna end on that later. So definitely stick around for that. But yeah, in the meantime, I think first up we've got Love Lies Bleeding. Okay, and take it away.
Cool. I look through your eyes and find the hope I try to hide. Try to close your eyes and hold me when I let go. I look through your eyes and find the hope I try to hide. Try to close your eyes and hold me when I let go. You say we're never getting younger, we'll never get this migraine to resonate away. Inside our brain, left love to reconcile, the author to write ourselves in longer. To the end of every chapter, we'll write us in the dirt. If love was for the liar, the blood in a bed of thorns, the lies of love to cowards, your love lies bleeding. Face those two less the helplessness, the bliss held in red and white. Your lies deceiving, your love lies bleeding. I look through your eyes and find the hope I try to hide. Try to close your eyes and hold me when I let go. Your life lies. Your life lies. Your life lies. Your life lies. Hey, thank you very much.
Excellent. Well done, man. That was awesome.
Thank you.
So, Love Lies Bleeding. Any story behind that track?
So it's there's a whole thing, but we wanted it with the EP actually. So we wanted something that was kind of consistent through the whole thing, and we wanted to go down the kind of concept idea of it was a completely different way of writing. Actually, we'd never sort of done anything like it before. We wanted to set a bit of a challenge, so we created this sort of concept through lots of research, and we came up with, we wanted to write songs anyway that are we wanted it to be relatable. We wanted it to be something that we really that meant a lot to us, and they're all about struggles, personal struggles, and a lot of the time regarding mental health and situations and relationships Love Lies Bleeding is Love Lies Bleeding is a flower that the essence of the flower, it's meant to heal physical and mental damage, and it was that kind of idea of healing that we wanted to kind of really bring across. So there's a definite personal story behind it, regarding sort of relationships and friendships, and coming to realize that you can heal from certain losses and things. But at the end of the day as well, we really want people to resonate with the lyrics as much as possible for their own personal struggles, and to kind of realize that we're not alone, through our struggles and things that we go through day to day. There are other people as well who can stand with you, and that's the sort of whole message, I think, really.
That's good. It was wonderful as well that you can kind of take something like that and turn it into beautiful music, something that other people can enjoy and sort of, share almost in the message as well, I guess.
Yeah, that's definitely something we really wanted to get across. Yeah, and like I said, it was a completely different way of writing, and we tried to do it through the whole EP. All of the song titles are named after flowers, which are what each song is about. With the right research, you'll be able to kind of find out as well. And we thought that idea was quite cool, just to kind of leave it open.
See, I didn't know that the songs were named after flowers. That's actually really interesting.
Yeah.
Oh wow, that's great. So when you obviously you're starting off the band, do you have in your mind an idea of what sound you want to be, or what kind of genre you want to tie yourselves to, or did it just happen by itself?
It was a really random, just sort of natural thing that happened, I think, to get to the sort of sound that we have now. Because originally, sort of around 2016, or when we started this, I think we were very much into the sort of pop punk and like Blink-182, Green Day, and all of that stuff. And we kind of set out to be a bit of a pop punk band. And I don't know, I don't really know how we kind of ventured into this. I never did. I was never screaming. I never knew how to do that. That just kind of came by fluke, really, and us kind of messing around. And we all, what's nice is actually that we all have very different music tastes. We have very different sort of influences in our music writing as well. So I'd like to think at least that it kind of gives us a little bit of a unique, undefined sound. Hopefully that's the kind of hope of that, I suppose.
But I think you've definitely got that. When I heard the Blossom off the EP, because when Dan had shared it first, I think I messaged him and I was like, dude, that track's amazing, and it reminded me so much of like Funeral for a Friend. Like I feel like I captured a lot of some of their vibe. Who are your influences for the music? I know you said there's kind of a mix, but who would you say your influences are for it?
Mine, it's very mixed as well. I mean, I don't know, it's probably quite taboo now, but like originally it was actually brand new. And then all the stuff happened. So, definitely Trophy Eyes. I take a lot of influence from Trophy Eyes and John Floriani, and that, along with Flat Sound, is a very big influence on me. I know maybe a smaller name for some people, but I quite like listening to the smaller kind of artists and sort of underground artists, and taking a lot of influence from that, and definitely bands that use a lot of lyrics and lyrical ideas and things. Yeah.
Okay, so I'm gonna fire you a question over from the comments on Facebook Live now, cool. And then we'll cut to another song if that's good with you.
Nice, yeah, that sound.
Okay, so James Philip Baldwin has asked, if you had to describe your music as an alcoholic beverage, what would it be?
Oh my god. um, uh, it would probably be just a mixture of all all sorts of spirits, all chucked into one. You can
It's a dirty
chuck some
pint then.
Sprite in there. Absolutely, I think it is a dirty pint. That's probably a good way of describing it, actually.
Well, there you go, James. I hope that helps answer your question. Okay, so we've got our next track up now. One of my favorites. This is going to be Blossom. I will leave it with you.
Nice, thank you. Settle down my head asleep, teeth in my lips and tongue in cheek. I'm so sorry for my head, I'll burn into my skin again. Keep on telling me I'm worthless, my skin is crawling on the surface. Sorry I gave you my all, I'll bury me, I'll catch your fall. Would you give me an option? Would you give me a sign that passed all your judgment? Would you give me some time if I put some ties to write on my arm the gift that you gave me? But you'll never learn, so you'll never forgive me for all that I've done. I'll never forgive you, 'cause you'll never learn. So I lit up my nightmares with the cause of the crime. With all my forgiveness, I was wasting my time. Would you give me an option? Would you give me a sign that passed all your judgment? Would you give me some time if I burnt all my letters to write on my arm the gift that you gave me? But you'll never learn, so write on your arm, it makes you feel stupid. I know you were wrong, I hope this was worth it. So write on your arm, makes you feel stupid. I know you were wrong, I hope this was worth it. Now I've played every option, I've given my time. Now I've burnt every canvas in this temple of my design. If my time let the scars heal, there's a truth in the lie that I'm getting better. I'll live for a while.
Loved it. That was awesome. Again, how would you find it, slowing a song down, like obviously like Blossom or something, from what it's used to being like with a big band and all that to an acoustic? Is that easy to do, or is it? I mean, yeah, because it's like hearing it again for the first time almost for me, and I wonder what it's like, performing it.
Yeah, well, I've been trying to get that across actually. There's been we've been discussing the idea of sort of reimagined versions of the songs that we've released, I suppose, and I kind of wanted to get that across, that it's like because I could very easily just sort of try and play exactly as it is on record, but on stripped down to acoustic. But I'd rather just try and change little things up, because especially with like there's screams involved, and trying to put them into melodies, and trying to put them into, not having breakdowns and changing breakdowns onto acoustic, and things like that. It is a bit of it's quite a fun challenge, I find.
I mean, you did a good job of it, 100%. I mean, I thought, like I said, it was what I said, I guess, is what you were trying to do, and so it worked. Yeah, like I said, it's one of my favorite songs, especially off the EP. What would you say your favorite song is off the new EP? Out of curiosity.
It changes all the time. For the last week, it's been Carnation, which is the last song on the EP. But yeah, it changes all the time. It'll be something different tomorrow.
And what would dictate it changing? Is it just a mood thing, or is it based on what you enjoy playing the most?
Yeah, I think so. Especially like when we have been playing live shows and stuff, it definitely changes night to night. Then yeah, I think it's just from the vibes of the gigs that we're doing, how we're all sort of feeling at the time, because they're all. I love all of these songs because they're deeply personal. They have quite a lot of deep meanings and quite a lot of personal impact. But yeah, they're all for different reasons. So that's probably it.
So we've got a comment about the EP as well from Mike Shepherd on Facebook Live. Hi, Mike. He has asked, which song came first off the EP?
Like written wise.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Okay. The first song we wrote was Insomnia, actually, because Insomnia. I think it was Insomnia. Yeah, it was. Insomnia. We wrote when we had when Dan O'Brien came into the band. This was before Dan Phillips was even there as well, and that was one of the first songs we wrote, and that was just kind of floating around, and we sort of reimagined it, I suppose, after when Dan Phil joined. Yeah.
I've got Joseph Dean Lovett commented. He said, where we got Blossom, probably, Mike. It was called Dan Phil Song for ages. Was that what you called it?
It was. Yeah. So we had a bit of a. We weren't really going to do anything, but when Dan Phil, when he first sort of joined, and we had a couple of practices and stuff. There was a bit of a thing going that. We're going to ask him to write a song, and he did, and he wrote Blossom, and that was the first song he presented to us, and we were like, we need to keep this guy.
Oh wow! Well,
yeah,
hats off to you there, Dan. I didn't know that.
Absolutely.
And is it? I mean, I think is it the music video for either Blossom or Passion Fire? No, it might have been Blossom. I'm sure. Is it the two hoodied people and somebody walking? Is the one we put out for the teaser? No, it's Passion Flower, wasn't it?
Oh, that was Passion Flower. Yeah, that's Passion Flower.
Is that you guys all in the video, by the way? Because I'm sure I saw Dan in one of those hoodies.
We do make occasional appearances, I think, here and there. We were all there during filming, and we were kind of used for little bits.
Yeah, I thought I saw a Dan cameo. I was looking, I was like, who's that in the hoodie? It looks familiar.
Yeah. I'm sure you did.
So, of all of the bands and things you've played with so far, who would you say the one that's been your favorite collaboration has been? Not so much collaboration, I suppose, but just just being on, kind of sharing the stage with. Who's been your highlight so far?
Yeah. One of our most recent tours was done with a band called Lonesome. And I think that was definitely a definite highlight. We got on with those guys so well, and live they are just an experience, so that I think everyone should go and check out Lonesome. They have I don't know, I can't even describe it. You just have to listen to it. But yeah, they were an amazing experience to have a little tour with them, as well as a couple of other more local bands. So we've played with Up the Avenue quite a lot, and Inscape, another incredible band. And we had another recent tour with a band called Maypine, and it's all been incredible.
And if you could choose one band to go on tour with today, who's top of the list?
Of anyone?
Anyone? Let's keep it living. Let's keep it living. Anybody living still? What's your dream? What's your dream sort of tour support band situation?
For me personally, I think probably Trophy Eyes, them, or thinking a bit of a bigger scale, probably Bring Me the Horizon. I think everyone would have a very different answer, but that'll be mine at the moment.
Any reason behind those two in particular?
Well, Trophy Eyes, just because they are like my biggest sort of influence and inspiration, especially with lyric writing from their front man. So to actually play alongside them, I think would be quite a surreal experience. And Bring Me the Horizon, I think the stuff that they're doing now is so incredibly creative, and sort of been following what they've been doing along with, I'm sure, many other people. But I think it would be quite a cool insight to see how they sort of work,
Yeah, I say they've seemed to have changed quite a lot, especially in the past year or two, musically. They're obviously coming away from the screaming a lot more now. They seem to be sort of toning it down a little bit more, kind of probably to get more of a general audience, I guess. Because you even start to see them, in the commercial charts and stuff. So it's interesting.
Yeah, I think it's an incredible achievement for them as well. They've kind of risen to the ranks of multiple genres, and I think that's quite an admirable thing to do. Quite a cool thing to be able to do. Yeah,
definitely. Yeah, I mean, it can't be an easy thing to do, and it's one of those risky things, because if you don't do it, you get criticized for it. But if you do it, somebody criticizes you for it. It's one of those, like, exactly. How do you please everybody kind of scenarios. But yeah. All right. Should we get another track on if you're up for it?
Yeah, absolutely. We can do that. No problems.
Great. Okay, so next up we have Passion Flower, which we were just discussing. Fantastic music video for that, by the way. Thoroughly enjoyed that.
Thank you very much.
So yeah, I'll leave you take it away.
Awesome. Fine line and a bit in time. To grow up you must die. Black eyes fed by distant lies. We won't give up for you till the passion flower breaks. Our hearts are warm but our minds decay. A fever worse than yesterday. We won't give up for you. It's something we'll believe that we won't fall. Somehow I have to know that I can do this on my own. If poets lost their voice, the dead will never sleep. The circles in my head draw a line straight back to me. After the calm before the storm. How many times you woken for it? You thought about killing the distance, but did you think you make any difference? It's something we'll believe that we won't fall. Somehow I have to know that I can do this on my own. If poets lost their voice, the dead will never sleep. The circles in my head draw a line straight back to me. You spent your whole life with your head in the clouds. I spent most of my life trying to bury my doubts. I watch the colors burn beneath my feet as a passion flower tearing down the labels you read. Collect me under your foreign breath. Erase me from the depths of your head. I couldn't have been the man you want me to be. Open up my eye, tell me what you see. Collect me under your foreign breath. Erase me from the depths of your head. I couldn't have been the man you want me to be. Open up my heart, tell me what you see. If poets lost their voice, the dead will never sleep. The circles in my head draw a line straight back to me. If poets lost their voice, the dead will never sleep. Circles in my head draw a line straight back to me.
Can really tell, you know, what you said earlier about the importance of like the lyrics for you. It shows with, you know, just listening to the words, man. It's just so well written. Do you come from like a writing background, or is it like instinctive with you?
It's always been just such an interest of mine. You know, I've just experimented with lots of different styles, I suppose, and lyrics has always been a very, very important part of what I do. And I suppose I always enjoyed creative writing and poetry and things like that. But it's never been like something that I've properly pursued until I just started writing lyrics, really.
I've noticed when I read lyrics to songs that I love, actually, it's often it is basically so similar to like as if you're just sitting there reading poetry, because it's so beautifully written and just the way it works together. And I think that is, for me at least, what makes a lot of music great.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, so that sort of big special applause to the writing anyway, because you know it stands out. You know, sometimes it can get lost. They can get lost in the music, because for me, I think of like music, sort of the two components. You've got the music is like the looks, and then the writing, the lyrics is the personality. So yeah, you've kind of got that full package thing going on, which is nice.
Yeah. Oh, thank you so much.
Have
you? I think the lyrics is definitely something we can kind of bring across, for sure.
Have you been doing a lot of writing during the lockdown with all this sort of spare time? I assume you might have.
Yeah, actually, I mean, we've all been sort of trying to keep busy. We haven't really stopped writing, and you know, between the other guys in the band, we've just been constantly sending things sort of back and forth and coming up with ideas and just trying to keep the momentum going, I suppose. But I've definitely found as well that I myself have had quite a lot of time to be able to sit down and work on just lyric writing for myself as well. You know, just to kind of experiment with different things. So it has its advantages, I suppose.
So you've been using the lockdown productively then?
Yeah, I mean, I think we'd like to think so, at least. Yeah, for sure.
Do you think the whole like situation is going to influence the way you're writing in terms of what you're trying to say and what you're kind of telling?
I mean, it could. Yeah, I think a lot of it has been actually. We tend to try and cover like as many topics as we can, I suppose, all sort of under the same roof of showing. We all stand for like showing compassion, showing love, showing kindness, and we stand for sort of unity and togetherness. And I think being able to do that through music is quite an important thing. But yeah, I think we've had songs that we've been kind of trying out about the state of the world and the state of societies. I mean, Passion Flower itself is a song about society and about being able to be yourself in society, in a society where people are telling you what to do and what to wear and what to think and all of this. So yeah, I think it will, for sure. That was the long answer for that question.
That's right. It's fine. I think we're going to have a lot of new music and a lot of new sort of scripts, and just I think creativity. I like to think anyway. As a result of this lockdown, is gonna cause a big boom in terms of like the music that's going to come and the films that are going to be written. I think that people are finally having that time available to themselves for them to kind of sit down and do stuff they've been thinking about doing, or have never been able to justify putting the time aside to do in the past. So yeah. I think, anybody who's coming out of this with projects is somebody who's, kind of taking advantage or making the best of a bad situation, essentially.
Oh, definitely. Yeah, for sure. I think the best sort of advice I've ever heard about creativity and writing music or being artistic or drawing or photography or anything is you should start creating now. So I think that's a really important thing, is that people should, if they have an idea, they should start doing it right now.
Yeah, nobody starts off perfect. I think you just got to get your. I think once you've done your first thing, whatever it is you like doing, just do your first piece, and then you just keep building off it. I think that's the trick.
Yeah, definitely, and it does take time. We're not under the illusion that things happen overnight, because they don't, and they take time, a lot of time and effort. But I'm glad that we started when we did and have overcome the sort of hurdles that we've come across. And yeah, that's something I think lots of people should have a look into. Just starting being creative now.
Agreed. Right, we are closing in on 6 p.m. So we still got 2 tracks to go. Are we ready for Carnation?
Absolutely, yeah.
There we are. I shall leave it to you.
The worst, most deafening of silence, and never saving grace, to look upon your face, admit that I need saving. The hardest part is over. I'm only getting older to see where I have been. Admit that I need. You're breaking my heart, breaking my soul. Do you realize that you're out of control? You're playing a part, playing a role. Get out of your head so you can let me go. Thank you for trying, but I'll never give up. Thank you for leaving, but I won't ever stop. Thank you for trying, but I'll never give up. Thank you for leaving, but I won't ever stop. Take it out on me, put me up on parade. Take it out on me, just take your hate out on me. You're breaking my heart, breaking my soul. Do you realize that you're out of control? You're playing a part, playing a role. Get out of your head so you can let me go. You're breaking my heart, breaking my soul. Do you realize that you're out of control? You're playing a part, playing a role. Get out of your head so you can let me go. Take it out on me, take it up on parade. Take it out on me, just take your hate out on me. Take it out on me, put me up on parade. Take it out on me, just take your hate out on me.
If you guys don't release an acoustic EP after all this is said and done, I mean, I feel like if I'm speaking on behalf of all the fans here, we are going to be absolutely gutted because your music is made, I think, for acoustic. It is so, like I said, beautifully written. You guys have to just do an acoustic EP now. I mean, I'm putting it out there. You got to do it.
Well, that's it then. We'll have to do it now. It's coming. That's official.
Yeah, you heard it here first, guys. You're welcome. It does seem like one of those things. I mean, if you've got the music anyway, and can afford to put a day aside to record it, why not? It's a bonus. It's a bonus. Bonus kind of content, I guess.
Yeah. Well, I mean, not to get any ideas, but I mean, we do have all this time now, so who knows what will happen.
Exactly. It'd be rude. It would be rude not to. That's all I'm saying.
It would be, yeah, absolutely.
So, of all the songs you've written yourself so far, what would you say your favorite lyrics are? Because I know you're, proud of the writing on your songs. What are your favorite lyrics?
I think in terms of lyrics, all of Blossom. I think Blossom was the probably the most honest song that I've kind of written, and it was a bit of a difficult decision to do that. I think because we want to be honest as we can, and we do. All songs are about very real subjects and very we hope relatable. But Blossom is the first one I think that was about such a specific subject that it was a difficult one to write without revealing too much about my sort of personal life. But that one really resonates. I think the whole thing.
Well, I don't think it's any coincidence that it's the one you're most proud of writing, and also your most played one. Was it 52,000 plays on Spotify? And I'd say about 25,000 of them might be mine. I'm not going to lie.
We appreciate that for sure.
Yeah, when I heard it first, I don't think it was. I'm not sure. I heard it via Spotify first. I think it was like YouTube, and I remember I was like sending it to my friends. I was like, check these guys out. They're from they're local. No way are these guys local. Wales isn't allowed to put out bands of this good.
Oh man, no, that's too nice. That's too nice.
No, honestly, it's nice to see because I'm a massive music person myself, and coming up in Wales, you had a couple of bands. You could count them on one hand. The bands who were kind of making a noise in the music scene, and it always bugged me a little bit because we're a music country. We love to sing. We're always doing it in the pubs or wherever. Really, we love to sing, and I just think there's a shame we haven't got more out there. So always behind supporting new music coming through. Definitely.
Oh, good. Yeah, and that's the thing with
And
being in Wales as well, is the the
yeah.
local scenes that we spoke about before. There are bands there. It's just the ways and means of getting stuff out is difficult, I think.
Mm. Yeah, there isn't a huge pool of live venues either. I think, well, at least from what I remember, obviously we had like with Sin City in Swansea. Oh God, what else used to play? I think maybe Monkey Bar did some gigs occasionally. Then there was like I remember Hobos in Bridgend used to go there sometimes.
Yeah,
I'm trying to think. Yeah, there wasn't really that many venues that you would go and find the local bands in. Besides, at least off the top of my head, those two anyway. Is there many more? Have many more sprung up in the time of the last 10 years? You probably worth mentioning. Be good for listeners where they can check out more live bands.
The bunkhouse in Swansea is just rising to the top of the local venue sort of thing of South Wales. I think at the moment they're providing so much for local bands and working so hard to get put on events for bands that really need the sort of recognition. So they are definitely right up there at the moment. The bunkhouse in Swansea.
See, I've not heard of Bunkhouse. Whereabouts are they?
So it used to be. Oh God! Well, it's the guys who ran. Do you know the Scene, which was in Swansea?
Rings a bell. Rings a bell, but I couldn't place
So
it.
that's good. That is, it's the guys who ran that are doing the bunkhouse at the moment.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's
guys.
It's opposite. No, it's just opposite.
Sorry, carry on.
Yes, fine. It's opposite Sin at the moment. Yeah, so it's not too far away.
Do you know what? There was a place there, but do you know, it might be where Vice used to be. Vice Rock Club used to be just opposite Sin as well. So I wonder if it's that space. Maybe. I don't know.
It could be.
Yeah, I'm gonna just guess on a limb and say yeah, it's there. Probably is. That was that didn't last long. Yeah, Vice was an interesting place. It was like I said, it was a kind of rock venue, but it didn't know what it wanted to be because then like on the Fridays and stuff, they'd like play like rock music and things, and they'd try to get people there. And there was the most bizarre thing. I think it was Friday nights. It was like £1 to get in or something like this, and then they'd have fire breathing strippers there but they weren't. They would have like nipple tassels on, so it didn't really qualify. It was really like. It was the most random thing. Like, honestly, didn't know what he was trying to be. Really didn't know what he was trying to be.
Yeah. A bit of everything.
Yeah, it was a little bit of everything. All right, so we've got one track left, which is the exclusive, I suppose. I'll leave you tell us a little bit about it. A Tragic Way to Write the Story End. What's the story behind this?
This is again, it's just a very sort of personal, very honest song. I didn't really write this with the intention of it being anything band related, but we've sort of demoed things out and things. So I suppose it's just a little taste of what we've been working on and the sort of direction and things that we're trying to push ourselves to be.
Can I ask, how do you decide? Because I know you do your own solo stuff as well. How do you decide which goes where? How do you? I always wonder about that with bands. How do you know what you want to have for yourself and what you want to have for the band?
So I hardly ever really write full songs for the band. I've written one song which is on the last EP actually, Between Hell and Home. There was a song on there called Dear Blank with Love, which I wrote originally for my own project, but it got swiftly stolen by the guys. But I tend to quite like to keep my songs quite close to me and to kind of give it a bit of a different meaning and a different sort of a vibe, I think, to separate the two.
Okay. All right, so I suppose without further ado, let's have our sneak preview of a Tragic Way to Write the Story End.
And what I want is to leave this earth, a selfish way to show you that I care. A freeing sense of what I lost, a beauty declaration much, a tragic way to write the story. And my arm will still display the scars, my body and my aching heart will always show reminders that you're there. My body trapped behind a mask, the only person that I trust has always been there with me from the start. I wanted to be fine. I know it'll take some time to fix up what's inside my brain. I'm trying my best to be the best I can, but I can't see past tomorrow. Is this the best I am? I'm trying my best to be the best I can, but I can't see past tomorrow. Is this the best I am?
Yes, love it.
Yeah, good.
I can't wait to hear the studio version of that. That's going to be epic.
Me too.
Come on, lockdown, hurry up and finish. We can get some more music.
Absolutely.
So that was the last track. Where can people find you if they want to listen to your music or like your pages and things? Where can they find you?
Yeah, so you can find us on Facebook and on Instagram and A Night Like This, and A Night Like This official, I believe it is, on Instagram. We're also on Twitter as A Night Like This, and Spotify, Apple Music it is they use now, isn't it? Not iTunes, but either of those. Amazon, Deezer, Google Play, whatever it is that you listen to, you can find all of our music on those. Yeah. So
you've got every corner covered pretty much then. And YouTube, of course.
And YouTube, I should have mentioned, yeah, of course. So you can we've checked out a couple of videos and Dreambound, which is Blossom and Passion Flower on there, and Insomnia is over on Space Untraveled on YouTube as well.
Excellent. Well, thank you very much for giving up your Sunday evening to come on and do the live lounge with us. It's been an absolute pleasure meeting you and hearing the music, of course.
No, thank you very much. I've really enjoyed. Absolutely.
And hopefully next time you guys are up London way and this lockdown's finished, we'll get you in the studio and we'll do something there as well, in the actual physical studio. It'd be nice to have you there in person. So yeah.
Yeah, definitely. We'll have to sort something out for sure.
Perfect. There we go. Well, thanks for everybody who's tuned in and has dropped some comments on the live stream for us. We will be back again soon with another band. But yeah, stay tuned for more information on that. And thanks again, Dom. Goodbye, everybody, and we'll see you soon.